Welcome back, rum fans. Today we are talking about Black Tot. This is what I would call a standard rum, the finest Caribbean. I think it's what's on the bottle, but I just call it normal Black Tot. You can tell I'm a little bit of a Black Tot fanboy. I've got the 2020 single releases on there, so the 2022, the 21 and the 20 behind it. The 20 was released for the 50th anniversary of Black Tot Day. We've talked about that many times. If you want to find out in-depth knowledge about Black Tot, just go and search out Mitch, who is like Black Tot's sort of global rum ambassador. He is phenomenal. He will talk you through the brand till the cows come home. Every single little bit of intricate knowledge about it. He will do a far better job than what I will. I will give you the bare basics today. I will kind of talk about my tasting notes and price and all that and my opinion of it. But if you want fact bombs, go and just stalk Mitch on Instagram. But he's done a few bits on YouTube as well. I might link some of the videos, interviews he's done in the description below. So Black Tot, as I call it, normal Black Tot. It is 46.2% ABV. Other bits of knowledge in here. £40, Master of Malt UK. Quite expensive, you know, when you consider last week I talked about Eldorado 12-year-old. You know, it's going up a little bit in there, but we've got a little bump in ABV, obviously, and there's a little bit more in depth in it, which we'll go on to in a second. And it is a blend, obviously, of pot and column stills. Now, I say obviously because for those of you that don't know what Black Tot is and why I kind of love it, this is what I would call, and it needs a category name for this, but it is a blended rum, and I call it a multi-island, multi-country blend, if you like. This one is strictly Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica. We get a bit more technical when we go into the single, or I forget what you call them, the Blenders Reserve, Master Blenders Reserve editions, because they pull in different rums, and that is a quality story, because don't just assume that those rums are this older or you know, it's a really fascinating story, so go and check that out. But I will give you the one thing Black Tot are phenomenal about is giving you the actual makeup, the DNA of this rum, and I've got this written down here. So in this bottle, bear in mind the overall is 100%. all right, so the 100% of the bottle up to there. What we've got making up this rum, we've got 35% of it is but a 5-year-old column still from Barbados. We've got 40% of it is a 3 to 5-year-old pot and column still from Guyana. Remember what I talked about in the Eldorado video, the Eldorado 12 video. Don't just naturally assume that is Port Morant or anything like that. They've got 10 stills going on there. You'll have to do your own digging to actually what Guyana rum is in there. But 40% of it is 3 to 5-year-old pot and column. So that's taking us up to 75%. We've got 20% of this is unaged Guyanan, so that will come off one of the other stills that they've got going on there, whether it's the French Saval or the Rectified, whatever they've got going on. And we've got 5%, which is a 3-year-old Jamaican, 5% Jamaican 3-year-old rum in there. So all of those rums are blended together to create what Black Tot is, 46.2%. It was a brand that I kind of avoided for the first couple of years. I just thought they came on the scene, you know, I didn't really know too much about them. I wasn't kind of following what was going on. But then I tasted it and I was just like, wow, this is absolutely way up my street. And as bonkers as this sounds, and I know you shouldn't compare it and can't compare it like this for me is everything that I used to kind of relate to Eldorado, the 12-year-old, because you have got the barrel aging, the wood notes, the kind of, obviously kind of heavy wood notes. We've got what's the oldest one in here? We've got 5-year-old, so up to 5-year-old rums in here. But obviously you've got those big bold flavours from the wood coming in there. You've got plenty of caramel, plenty of vanilla, but right up front on the nose is those tropical fruits that I miss off Eldorado 12 now. I mean, it's just a whole explosion of fruit on the nose. Is when I say tropical fruits, I'm automatically assuming, or my head's going pineapple and coconut. It could quite easily be something like passion fruit and guava on there, but I just associate that sort of smell with pineapple, maybe a bit of coconut. I get flipping banana on there. I've got plenty of vanilla, plenty of caramel, plenty of wood. I've even got sort of, hang on, it's kind of like chocolatey vibes to it. Like actually, well, it's coffee and chocolate. What that does sort of remind me of, that little note, is kind of like a mocha, if you like, a mocha coffee sort of thing. But I think there is also kind of like a little hint of sort of citrus in there, maybe orange, maybe kind of orangey on the back there. It's just such an interesting nose that when you smell it, you're just like, wow, that's, yeah, I like that. I can't wait to dive into that. And that's exactly how Eldorado 12 used to be for me. But it's just not these days, purely because of the sugar. I don't know whether this is dosed. I don't know. I don't think there's added sugar to this. I'm pretty sure there isn't, but I don't know. I can't answer that to a fact. But on the taste, it just basically echoes everything that I've just said. The first wave that hits you, you can tell I've got a big old smile on my face. The first wave that hits you is that tropical fruit. I don't think I've even tasted that much tropical fruit off like a genuine out and out Barbados rum or Jamaican rum. It just fascinates me what these multi-country, multi-island blends bring to the party, because they are obviously, what, how many rums are in there? One, well, a Guyana 40%, 3 to 4, it could be, Christ, it could be loads, but essentially we've got 4. But when it says Guyana 3 to 5 year old pot and column, Christ, it could be a blend of God knows how many rums in that bit. But we've definitely got at least 1, 2, 3. We've definitely got at least 4. But that whole 40% of it, made up between 3 and 5 year old Guyanese rums, is kind of a little bit of a, how many? How many different Guyanese rums between 3 and 5 year old make up that 40%? I don't know. I generally don't know. But it's just so fascinating. It's just such a gorgeous rum. The only thing I do pick up extra, which I don't get off the nose, it's this note that when it's there, I can easily identify it because I don't like it. And quite a few of you will know I'm not a huge fan of like Islay whiskies. That smoky sort of peaty vibe. It's probably more peat than it is anything else, because I'm not too bad with mezcal. Mezcal is more smokier tequila, basically. Sorry, mezcal, but this is the only way I could describe it. Dumb it right down. It's just like a smokier version of tequila. And I'm getting used to those. So I can only assume that the whiskey vibe that I really hate is actually the peat. But I do associate that with smoke. And that is there in a little bit. But, you know, the pineapple, it is pineapple on the taste, 100%. And then as you just kind of swill it a little bit, not many people swill rum, but if you swill it, move it from side to side, when it hits the side of your palate, it's almost like you've bitten into an orange. It's where we kind of get that little of orange in there. It just fascinates. This rum absolutely fascinates me. For me, 100% permanent restock. I still now don't give it the love it absolutely deserves, because for some unknown reason, and this kind of could be to its detriment, I don't know, but for some unknown reason, it never kind of really features into my top 10, or I never really think about it going into my top 10. And I generally don't know why that is. It should be, because every time I taste it, or want another glass of that, it is a proper session rum, even at 46%. I don't need that watered down with anything. However, when you do kind of mix it, it is fantastic mix. It makes a banging rum and coke, banging rum and ginger, fruity cocktails. Again, I don't really use it in cocktail tests, dissecting cocktails on my other channel. Talking of other channels, you do realise I have other channels, 2 other channels. Steve the Barman is the normal channel, and then Steve the Barman Extra is kind of where the live show is these days, and I kind of do the cocktails and the spiced rums on that channel. Rum reviews is where I do, like this channel is where I do the UK or British scratch rums on a Monday and these on a Thursday. This is absolutely fantastic. I generally can't call it anything more than the Journey rum, because it is because you've got all those different blends in here, and I get this with every single kind of multi-island blend, multi-island blended rum, multi-country blended rum, whatever we're going to call it. We can't just call it blended rum, because blended rum, you know, that's a blended rum. And then get into the sort of things, well, hang on, people are going to say, well, it's a single blended rum because it comes from one distillery. But then actually, I've seen single blended rum classed as rum that comes off one still. So, you know, we do need absolute clarification on what blended means. Single blended, I would naturally put single blended as a distillery, but I have seen a lot of people talk about it as distill, because a lot of distilleries have more than one still. You know, you kind of have to remember that. I talked about DDL in the last video. You know, how do you call that's a, as soon as they mention as soon as they put Port Morant, Versailles and Enmore in that, it's a blended rum. You know, is it a single blended rum because it comes from DDL, or is it a single blended rum, actually a 5-year-old Port Morant, an 8-year-old Port Morant, and a 12-year-old Port Morant? You know, is that a single blended rum? We need the absolute clarification, because there is no written rule. Even Luca Cagano in his method doesn't really sort of classify that, really. So until that point, I call these multi-island, multi-country blends. I call them journey rums, because they take you through like your palate, your tongue, your taste buds. The finish is just fantastic. But the more I'm talking, the more of those juicy tropical fruits come out, and I flipping love this. This is more of an automatic restock and more enjoyable as a neat sipper than Eldorado at 12 for me is now. This, for me, eclipses everything I used to think about Eldorado 12. And for me, actually, probably, I actually do enjoy it more than Eldorado 15.